Hey guys, welcome to another episode of TECHDISC Tuesday. I'm hoping I'll get this out to you today, which is Tuesday. I'm back in California. This past week I took a trip over to St. Louis to grab my allotment for the 2024 season, as well as to see the team again and go out and shoot some disc golf, try out some new discs. Immediately after that, I took another red eye into Florida to visit my family and also play a nice little seeds here at Easterland Park. Last week we worked on angle control. We were working on throwing a hyzer angle, a flat angle, and an anhyzer angle. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a step back and actually learn a new shot. Today we're going to work on standstill shots. Alright, so sometimes you might have a weird lie, you can't take an approach, or maybe the hole is a little shorter and you just want to be a little more accurate. A standstill shot's going to be a good way to execute that with a lot of consistency. Especially when we lock in our standstill shot with the tech disc, coming up with a good hyzer angle, a speed, even a spin, keeping it consistent. Stick with us. This episode is probably going to be the last more simple episode. After this, we're going to really start drilling combinations of all these skills we've learned. Example, hitting a certain power on a certain hyzer. So without further ado, let's get into it. So to set up for a good standstill shot, you're going to want to have your target out in front of you and put your first foot about perpendicular, maybe even a little bit inverted to your target. For me, I'm going to start perpendicular. At that point, you're going to want to set up a good baseline. Would be to set up your heel in direct line with your next toe and then maybe drop it back a little bit. You want to be able to rock and feel the weight go into your front leg and not feel like you're going to fall over your lie. If you're too narrow, you're going to feel like you're going to fall over. You want to be able to put this power into the shot and not fall over our lie. This is our brace step. So you want to find a good stance, kind of like I have here, where you can kind of rock and put weight into that front foot. So once we have a good comfortable position where we feel like we can put that weight into the front foot without falling over it. So sometimes it helps you line up with your target. Sometimes maybe give a little pre-pump forward and then a full reach back while you're moving your left arm, your off arm back so you can get that rotation. Some people I see, they keep their arm right here and then you have a lot less rotation you can get with your swing. A lot less reach back. What happens is if you move that shoulder, you open up and you can look how far back this is here versus if I have this closed, you can only get to about here. And then we're going to be doing other things like rounding, all that. So yeah, so make sure you rock with your whole body and get back. And once you get back, you almost want to drive with your left arm to trigger the tension through the back as you pull forward. So it should look something like that. You can think of it as a whip. Tech disc aside, let's pull out a towel. Ideally one of a little bit of substance so you can have some resistance. The idea behind the standstill, just like I was talking about, is we want to create sort of a whip. This is the fundamentals of a good backhand throw. So as you say, rotate with both arms to open up that core, expose that core, and then you're going to kind of drive through to set tension through the back. This, you can feel a stretch going through your shoulder blades around all the way, and then you snap through. And you almost want to resist with your left arm. So it's your arm should only be extended for a brief period of time. We want to crack that whip. And if you do this right, you honestly go back and sort of almost brace as all that tension releases into the disc, and then you rotate. What I see a lot of people doing as well, that's a mistake, is rotating like this. Just rotating like this. And what that is you're not ever stopping your momentum and putting it into the disc. You're carrying a lot of energy through your throw and losing all that potential energy that could go into your throw. So yeah, so do a set of maybe 10 of these and try to get a feel for it. From a standstill position, weight going into that front foot. Just like I'm doing here. Okay, so now that we've done some of those warm-ups with the towel to kind of work on feeling what it feels like to have a whip, we're going to do some throws with the tech disc. I think as a default, you're going to throw what angle feels comfortable for you. Today I just want to develop one standstill shot. For me, I'm probably going to be throwing a 20-degree hyzer. Let's see, first throw. And don't go for too much power. Go for what's comfortable to you. We don't want to hurt ourselves. So that was 58 point something at a little over 20 degrees hyzer. So that's perfect. That's really exactly what I'm looking for. We can work up to 60, but I'm gonna actually slow it down to 55 to work on technique. I think that was a little more hyzer. 56.9 at 27. So a little less hyzer. to get a good position. We don't want to be too narrow where we feel like we're falling forward and back. Need that left foot drop behind to balance, because you want to kind of transfer that weight into that front leg, right? That felt good right there. That should be about 55. 52.7 at 20.9. So that's pretty good hyzer there. Just a little more power. Yeah, these are coming out nice and smooth. 55.2, that's just where I want to be. At 22, that's solid. Let's do a few more here on this set. Do that one a little harder as I'm warming up here now. No, 55.2 again. At 17. I think I kind of leaked through my brace a little bit there. Yep, 54.3. See, on that throw I felt like I threw it harder, but I didn't get as much speed because I kind of fell through my brace. You want to put that foot out far enough where it's going to stop your weight. If you go too narrow, you'll fall over it. And you probably also feel more tension here. We want to create a good angle that's going to, kind of like a triangle. See, better brace there, less effort. Let's see what we got for speed. 55.2 again, so right on the money there. Tell you what, we're gonna switch this up to the lefty side for me. You could do this with your standstill forehand. I'm not gonna give you too many tips on that. I'm not a forehand expert, but for forehand, I'd say just have a wide stance and still about the weight transfer. But I don't think you need to be as exaggerated like this. You almost wanna be more the opposite or straight line. But again, I'm not an expert on forehand, so leave that to someone else. But I'm gonna work on my lefties and you work on your forehand standstills. And we're just gonna try to get those numbers consistent. That's what's important. If we can recreate the same stats, then we can recreate the same shots. So I'm just inverting what I do with my righty. And I'm actually gonna, just like we did with the righty, I'll do it facing the camera. We're gonna do some of those whips. We wanna feel it. Remember, we wanna rotate with our core, and then we wanna kind of hit it like this to create tension and use that tension to start exploding through our shot. And I'm not as good at doing this with the this is, my left arm work is very, or my off arm work is very poor with my lefty, so this is probably the best drill I could do for it. Okay, so you're gonna see me from the back, which is fine. Let's see what we can get here for numbers. Nice and smooth. 56.8 on 26. A little less hyzer this time. I think I'm leaking through my brace a bit. What I mean by leaking through my brace, like I've been harping on, is it feels like as I'm throwing, I'm kind of falling a little over it. We want that brace to stop all forward momentum, hit it into the disc, and then we can move forward to finish our throw. Like that was a good brace. I didn't fall through it at all. Let's see what the speed comes out as. 56 at 30 hyzer. So I'm gonna try to clean that up to 20 degrees hyzer. I think we're gonna be able to create better shot shapes with that. That felt pretty good. And that's another thing I just did there a little bit. 57.2 by the way, at 27, is on that front leg, as we shift our weight on the back leg into this position, crack the whip, or not really crack the whip, I say initiate the whip. We want to load onto a bent leg, and as you throw, you can even, I'm not good at it with this leg, but for some reason it makes more sense with this one. There's something about feeling that energy in the ground and pushing off of it and transferring into the disc, but you know, we're working on this together. I felt it a little bit in my left leg on that last throw. Let's see if we can do it again. It's too much hyzer, but you know, I'm not that mad about it. 57.6, 31. So really 30 is kind of my comfortable with lefty, but I'm still trying to break that habit because I think 20 is going to be more productive. See how I'm falling forward? Keep in mind of where your weight is after your throw. If it feels like there's energy that's just carrying you over your lie, then you probably want to stick that front leg out more to create an angle that can brace better. All right, we're gonna do a couple more lefties here to build our throw set. That felt pretty good, and I could feel I kind of drove up. I don't really know how that last move works, but I know if you watch, I think it's Kopka, I forget his first name, he talks about that, the legs, feeling that energy into the ground, and then pressing up and into the shot. That felt very easy to throw. Let's see what we got there. 57.6, and that was butter, effortless, on 22 hyzer. Let me try to recreate once more. 59.4 on that. That's impressive for my lefty. 31 hyzer though, so let's clean up that hyzer. I think I fell through it a little bit. I'd be surprised if that was over 56. Oh, 58. Okay. On 23 hyzer, so I'm good with that. So we're gonna take in one more advanced segment here. So I feel like today for me, I've created a 20-degree, both shots really 55 to 60 miles per hour, 20-degree hyzer standstill shot for both of my spins. So your number might be different. It's what's comfortable for you, but just like we've been harping on all these episodes, we want consistency. So do what's comfortable for you and do it well. So now we get a little trickier one here. So I'm gonna set up perpendicular to the net, sort of a tee pad. But I'm not gonna be treating this such as a tee pad. I'm gonna be using this as a frame of reference for where I can put my feet. Now we're gonna be doing a patent pending, right? So with a patent pending stance, it's kind of like what we had with the standstill, except it's extreme and it's, I guess you could say, line of verticality. So there's a few tricks we can use, right? So this is perpendicular to my net, or at least as close to that as I can come up with. What we can do is we can drop this foot the almost disc's width, about 8 inches back, and still have this one on the line. And that's a legal stance to have a little bit more balance, right? With our legs spread a little bit more. So that's one little trick. And then from here, we're gonna be, since we're in this extreme position, it's gonna be weird, the leg's gonna be in the way of hyzer. So we're gonna be reaching for a flat, almost anhyzer shot. So let's go for a smooth one first. Same concept otherwise, but smooth is key, because this is about a balance. So that released pretty straight to where I was aiming. That's 50, so that's probably what we're looking for. So my last shots were 55 to 60. We're dulling it down. What's that make it? I guess probably around 15%. Again, I'm gonna line up almost a disc width off of that one, and then right on this one, perpendicular, just like before, hitting that left side of the net flat. Yeah, and it might look weird. It's kind of like you're off your back foot, because you are. Your lie's on your back foot. 53 there. It's the same thing again. And we can go harder. I'm feeling more comfortable. Push it as you will. This is probably not a new shot for most of you, but in this concept of actual breaking it down into training, this probably is a new concept for you. So feel free to push your limits a little bit, as long as you're not feeling any pain. That one was a little bit of hyzer, but that thing would have flipped, because that was going probably close to 60. 58.2 on 9.1 hyzer. I'm gonna hit this one dead flat and go a little slower, just be smooth. I like that. .1, 0.8 hyzer, perfect. So now we're just gonna do exactly what I told you, but inverted. So this will give you another look at it. I'll do my best to be as consistent as possible. It might be hard to look at your target with this, since we're so staggered. It might be more balanced to kind of look sideways. What was that? I wanted to see. That was 54.9 there. It's pretty good. Yeah, it might be good to set up your aim, and as you're learning, kind of look this direction just to keep your center of balance good. There's 8 degrees hyzer. Should get a little flatter here. Yeah, just line up your aim, know where it's gonna go, and just trust it. Just like with a golf shot, you're looking down the whole time. It's not like you're looking at your target, so it's okay. It's okay not to see your target. You just have to line up right in the beginning. I'm hitting center net. It's 52.7. 8 on the hyzer. My left just likes doing about 10 more degrees of hyzer. .2, 2.3 hyzer. All right, let me do one more. Get this flat as can be, and put a little more power into it, maybe. Yeah, I fell off that a little bit, so we're gonna go again. But that felt good. 57.6. 1.9 on the hyzer. 56.5. 7.7 on hyzer. Anyway, I'm fine with that. So thanks for tuning in. Definitely recommend trying these things. You know, maybe this is a little outside the box for you with the tech disc, but again, like I said, stick with me. I think these are the sort of drills we need to be doing to actually get better results on the course, okay? We're not just looking for throwing faster speed. That's really not gonna amount to anything unless we can really control it. So stick with me and we'll get there. Peace.